Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning was long. Almost 3 hours long. For good chunks of it, though, it flew by. The first act had the most issues, being very heavy in exposition and not having the most interesting of dialogue. It was giving you a lot of information where it felt like it was going too fast, which I thought was weird knowing how long it was going into it. At other points, some sequences were stretched out a bit too much. I will say, however, that a majority of the movie makes a little more sense or grabbed my attention more than the previous installment, Dead Reckoning, which was originally part 1 to this chapter, and was surprisingly one of my least favorite of the franchise, only being surpassed by MI2. The plot felt very contrived, and with all of the hype surrounding the stunts like the motorcycle jump and set pieces like the train sequence, I was left disappointed. It was one of the first times in the franchise where the CGI was distracting, and it was clear that not everything was in camera like they often claim for these movies. Of course, there are effects in this one too, but they are for the most part not as obvious or as distracting. Everything in the image was enhancing Tom Cruise's stunt performances rather than detracting from them. And that's where this franchise always delivers and really what we are there for. Mission Impossible has always felt like action movies that even people who don't care for action movies can enjoy. The stunts are impressive, as well as the craft surrounding them. The plot and characters have never been the most important part, but here it weighs a little too heavy on the movie because of what I described as it wallowing in self-importance. Tom Cruise and writer-director Christopher McQuarrie try too hard to make the stakes heavy and overly serious and pull our emotional strings. Sometimes it works, more than I was expecting, but other times the attempted manipulation feels very forced and repetitive. Fortunately, it didn't detract from the movie as a whole for me, and I enjoyed a number of the callbacks to previous installments. Also, I understand the team's desire to bring things up a notch, but certain things felt so impossible that it was too much even for a franchise with the word impossible in the name. Would I recommend it? Absolutely. The negatives were not enough to stop my enjoyment of it, and I would say a lot of what works in this movie needs to be seen on a big screen. I saw it in IMAX, and that added to my experience. And I think most people should experience it the same way. The stunt set pieces involving water and air were well worth the price of admission.